You ever have one of those days that just seems determined to test what you're made of? Yeah, I had one of those. A day that kicked off with a gallon of milk, a cheap bouquet, and a line cutter in the express lane, and ended with the kind of public showdown you only ever see in viral videos. Except this time, I was the one in the video, whether I liked it or not. Let me back up a sec. This all started on what should have been a regular Tuesday night. I was dead on my feet, running on empty after a long week. All I wanted was to grab some milk for my kid and flowers for my wife. No big celebration, just a little thing, you know? Something to make her smile. That's my idea of a win. So, there I am, almost free, 10 items or less, 2 things on the belt, my mind already halfway home, when I hear the dreaded squeak thump of a busted cartwheel. And you just know, before you even turn around, someone's about to make your life harder. Sure enough, this woman sweeps right in. Pink sweater, perfect hair, the kind of shopping cart that's loaded up for a family of 12. Organic this, gluten-free that. Like she's prepping for the apocalypse. Doesn't say excuse me. Doesn't even look at me. Just cuts in like I'm invisible. I give her the benefit of the doubt at first, but when she starts slamming boxes onto the belt and nearly knocks over my milk, then turns and says, "You gonna cry about it?" Something inside me boils over. Now, I'm not a small guy, and most people don't mess with me, but tonight I'm tired, and I'm broke, and I've got overtime on the line. And just as I'm about to say something, my phone rings. It's my boss, reminding me I've got a shot at double-time pay this weekend, if I keep my nose clean. No fights, no drama. One slip and that overtime goes to someone else. And wouldn't you know it, the line cutter, Karen, though I didn't know her name yet, overhears every word. I see the smirk. She knows she's got me cornered. I can blow up, lose my paycheck, or swallow my pride. That's the choice she's banking on. I grit my teeth and try to let it go. But the universe wasn't done with me. Right then, a young mom tries to squeeze by with her stroller, barely clips Karen's overloaded cart, and, bam, a jar of pickles explodes on the floor. The baby wakes up screaming. Karen spins around, finger pointed at me like she's casting a curse, assault. He pushed my cart. He tried to hurt that baby. Her voice echoing through the whole store. Every eye is on me now, and I haven't moved an inch. You know what I mean? You're standing there, dead center, and suddenly you're the villain in someone else's story. The manager comes running, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else, and Karen's already spinning her tail, tears and all. The young mom tries to tell the truth. Her fault, not mine, but Karen waves her off. He intimidated her. Look at him. Manager Dave looks at me, at Karen, at the pickle juice all over the floor, and you can see him trying to figure out who's the liability. That's when the store's loss prevention guy shows up. He doesn't care about the drama. He wants facts. And right above us, security camera. My only real witness. I'm clinging to that little black dome like it's a lifeline. While they go off to check the footage, the whole store's holding its breath. Karen's fuming, tapping her foot. The mom's quietly rocking her baby. The cashier looks like she's about to quit on the spot. And me, I'm replaying my boss's words, wondering how close I am to losing everything. Finally, they're back. We reviewed the footage, Dave says. It was an accident with the stroller. This gentleman never touched you. The look on Karen's face is priceless, total disbelief. Then outrage. She argues, she threatens, but the video is the video. She's told to finish her checkout. But I'm not about to let her off that easy. I insist she goes first, after all. She's in such a hurry, right? Then I start playing her game, asking the cashier for a price check on her untagged kale, suggesting she rescan her coupons, making her wait for every little thing. The line behind us grows, and Karen is seething. It's petty, yeah, but it's also justice, slow and steady. You break the rules, you wait your turn like everyone else. Eventually, Karen tries to make a run for it, literally. She heads straight for the emergency exit, ignoring the glowing sign. She shoves the bar, and the doors don't budge. Instead, an alarm goes off, chirping loud enough for the whole store to hear. Now the entire front end is watching as security calmly explains she has to use the main exit. Her shortcut has locked her in the middle of a crowd, her private humiliation on public display. But she's not done. A teenager is filming her on his phone, and Karen loses it, swatting at him, grabbing for his device. Now she's crossed the line from loud to physical. Security steps in, the police show up, and Karen, tears streaming, tells them her version, blaming me, blaming the teen, blaming everyone but herself. But with video evidence, the officers see through it. I'm cleared. She's the one escorted out. I think that's the end of it, until the next morning. My wife Tammy wakes me up with her tablet. You need to see this. Karen's posted a wild story on the neighborhood HOA page, calling me a violent menace, saying I attacked her and terrorized a baby. The comments are already piling up, neighbors whispering, friends asking questions, strangers judging. It's a nightmare, and I can't even defend myself without looking guilty. But Tammy, she's sharp. She posts a calm, factual rebuttal with my receipt and timeline, tags the manager, and even tracks down the young mom, Sarah, who posts her own account backing me up. Then we remember neighbor Nate, who just happened to have his dash cam pointed at the parking lot. We get footage of Karen arriving, parking illegally, and being escorted out. Tammy posts it all. The tide turns. People start sharing their own stories about Karen, her history of entitlement, her complaints, her drama. The store manager calls, apologizes, and invites us to a public forum where they show the security footage, play the audio from the teen's phone, and let the whole community see the truth. Karen sits alone, trying to look humble, but when an elderly neighbor stands up and calls her out, the crowd is with me. The corporate lawyer lays out the consequences. Karen's banned from all super save stores, ordered to apologize, and assigned community service, restocking shelves in the very place she tried to rule. And that's how, a few weeks later, I found myself back in the store with Tammy and Leo, running into Karen in her bright orange vest, stacking cans and pretending not to notice me. I straightened a row she messed up, quiet, simple, final. No need for words. The story was over, and I'd kept my job, my pride, and my place in my neighborhood. But hey, that's just how it played out for me. What about you? Ever had someone try to take you down with lies? Where do you draw the line between keeping the peace and standing up for yourself? Drop your thoughts below. Let's see how this community would handle a bully like that. So, you'd think after all, that, the aisle drama, the social media storm, the public showdown at the store, life would finally settle down. That maybe, just maybe, I'd get a break. But life, as I've learned, has a real talent for throwing one last curveball right when you're finally breathing easy. The first weekend after Karen's community service shift, I thought about avoiding Super Save entirely, just to sidestep any awkward run-ins. But Saturday morning rolled around, and Tammy, practical as ever, handed me the grocery list with a little smirk. You survived worse, she teased. Besides, Leo wants to help you. Pick out cereal. So off we went, my son buzzing with his usual energy, chatting about soccer practice and which cereal has the coolest box. We pull into the parking lot, and I spot a couple of familiar faces, neighbors who now give me a knowing wave instead of that uncertain look I got before. I can't lie, it felt good, like things were settling, our reputation rebuilt one awkward smile at a time. But as we're unloading the cart, I catch sight of a cluster of people over by the side entrance. Karen, in that same orange vest, looking about as thrilled to be there as a cat in a bathtub. And beside her, a woman I don't recognize, talking to her in hushed, urgent tones. Now here's the thing. I'd been so focused on surviving my own mess, I hadn't even wondered who would show up next. In the ripple effect of all this, turns out, Karen brought backup, her older sister, Melanie, the kind of person who believes the world exists to inconvenience her personally. She's not in a vest. She's just there to supervise, but you can feel her eyes burning holes in me from halfway across the parking lot. I do my best to ignore them, focus on Leo, but as we're heading in, Melanie actually steps right in our path. Excuse me, she says, voice sweet as Splenda and just as fake. I hope you're proud of yourself. I'm caught off guard for a second. There's that old urge to go on the defensive, but I glance down at Leo and remember the whole reason I kept my cool in the first place. Just doing my shopping, ma'am, I say, not breaking stride. She scoffs, shakes her head, and mutters something under her breath about destroying families over nothing. Inside, I'm boiling again. The nerve, right? But Tammy's words echo in my head. Fight with facts, not with fists. I keep my head down, get what we need, and head to the checkout, where Brenda gives Leo a sticker and a high five. It should have been the perfect ending, but as we're walking out, a police cruiser pulls up right in front of the store. I freeze, heart thumping, but the officer isn't looking for me. He's got a file folder in his hand, and after a quick word with the manager, he heads over to Karen and Melanie outside. Suddenly, the whole parking lot is watching again. Karen starts arguing, loud enough that you can hear it from across the lot, accusing the store, the HOA, even me, of harassment. Melanie jumps in, filming the officer on her phone, insisting her sister is the real victim here. Here's the twist I never saw coming. Turns out Melanie has filed a complaint with the HOA and with corporate, accusing me of orchestrating a community harassment campaign against her family. She's even started collecting statements from a handful of their friends, trying to muddy the water, paint themselves as targets. I mean, you couldn't script this stuff any better. The cop is patient, tells them he's just following up on some recent complaints. Nothing more, nothing less, but Melanie isn't having it. We're being persecuted, she says, turning the phone toward me and Leo as if we're the ones with pitchforks. The manager comes out, calm and direct, reminds them of the terms of Karen's community service, and asks them to keep things civil or leave the property. It's surreal, like the whole thing is looping back around again. That night, after Leo's in bed, Tammy and I sit on the porch, listening to the crickets, catching our breath. She pulls up her phone and shows me the latest HOA group posts. Melanie's been busy, stirring up drama, twisting facts, trying to turn the community against us all over again. A few people are falling for it, but most are just tired, dropping comments like, "Can we all move on?" And maybe just follow the rules next time. I won't pretend it didn't get under my skin. For a while, I wondered if it was worth it, standing up, telling the truth, fighting the long, exhausting fight. But as Tammy leans over, head on my shoulder, I realize the answer's still yes. Not because it's easy, but because if you let a lie stand, it grows. Someone's got to draw the line, even when it's uncomfortable. Here's what gets me, though. This whole mess never really ends, does it? Maybe the details change. Maybe today it's Karen and her sister, tomorrow it's someone else. People can twist stories, try to rewrite what happened, but facts have a way of sticking, and a community remembers, even if it takes a while. I'll tell you, after all that, I sleep lighter. I watch my back a little more, but I walk a little taller too. I look folks in the eye at the store, nod to Brenda at the register, and hold Leo's hand as we cross the parking lot. And when I see Karen stacking cans, head down, pretending nobody notices, I don't feel angry anymore, just tired, and maybe, in a way, a little sorry for her. But I'll never regret defending my name, my family, or the right to a little decency, even in a grocery store on a random Tuesday night. So what would you have done? Ever had someone double down on a lie just to save face? Or a family feud that spilled into public? Drop your thoughts below, because, let's be honest, sometimes the aftermath is the real story.